We're back here, Davey D hanging out with you this afternoon. Sellassie in the building, checking out Revolutionary Gangster. Can you be a gangster and revolutionary?
Well, yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm not a gangster like bang, bang, shoot 'em up. But
I know,
mean,
but have we used those, have those words become diluted in people's minds?
Yeah, I definitely think so. And I'm at fault if some people take that the wrong way, but I'm glad I can explain it a little bit. You know, a gangster can be many different levels and stuff, but I'm not like somebody that's violent, but I'm more of a rebel. It should have been revolutionary rebel, but now that you said that. So, that's the remix.
Yeah, but that don't make no sense. Don't have the same oomph to it.
Yeah, it don't. You know, I mean, I grew up in the streets. You know, I grew up with gangsters. You know, and I have a gangster mentality that is from just growing up in the ghetto. You know, and being around gangsters. You know, doing stuff that they wasn't supposed to do. So that's product of my environment, definitely. But on the other side of that, I am a revolutionary, and I am new and fresh with my thoughts, and I don't contribute to genocide. So
one of the things that I remember. Your name is starting to be known not just here, but around the country.
Crazy.
And primarily because you took the Bay Area aesthetic, with people that preceded you, Living Legends, Hyro, the Quantum Brothers, all those guys from Quantum.
Yep.
Before that, the JTs, the bigger figures, the E40s and Too Shorts, and what have you, where, you decided to create your own platform.
Yeah.
You're not waiting for the big people to go, Sellassie, let's put you on the bill. You've been creating your own.
Yeah.
How's that been going?
That's been going great, because I knew in the environment it wasn't going to be that way. Like when I first started, there was nobody saying, Sellassie, man, come do this or do that. It's not that type of environment. We don't have that type of infrastructure amongst ourselves as artists. So me being me, I just decided that I was going to do my own thing and do it the way that I wanted to be done. I have a thing that I live with my life where if I see something that needs to be done, I'm going to do it. If I see something that needs to be done better, or I think I can do something better, I'm going to do it. And so I guess a lot of the people didn't think that I was that way, or underestimated that. But that's been really great because I've performed in, I'd say, maybe 10 different states, 100 different clubs, and all doing my own thing, presenting the event and also performing.
Right.
It's like a trip.
We were supposed to have joining with us, and his phone has been messed up. It's D. LaBrie. And, I wanted to have both of you in the studio today because you represent this new generation of people that has been, talking about this new DIY, do it yourself, first of all, talk about him because he's here's a guy you don't hear him on the radio.
Yeah.
You're probably not
That's
even going to see his records in the store, but I travel. I get to travel.
You do.
And I'll be like, all right, I'm in Texas, and I'll be like, hey, that's D. LaBrie. What are you doing here?
Yeah.
You'd be like overseas.
Yeah.
People like D. LaBrie's here overseas.
South Korea.
Yeah, so this man be traveling internationally with none of that stuff, and you've been starting to tour the country as well. What lessons have you learned from the E40s and everybody else in the past? That you apply now, and how is the game different from the hustle that your predecessors had?
Well, that's a great question. I think that the hustle my predecessors had, they had more of a support system, and they were new and they were at a good time. I think it was just their time. It was a good time, and they were new, they were young, and they had it where it was a different type of a game. They were independent, but they were like the only independents. I remember when there were no independent type things. I grew up with that. Like you say, JT, E40, these were all independent cats that would go other places with the so-called majors and weren't respected, at that time when they were going other places because they were independent, they weren't signed and all this stuff. 16 years later, they hanging with the same cats that was knocking them, and they want to be with what they doing, you know what I'm saying? And that's really the reality of the game. So what I learned from them, because I sat back and watched all of them come up. I bought all their records. I have all their records. I've been a fan of all them cats, and now I know them personally, and they know me from being a young cat in the crowd or being on the side and watching me come up. And I learned from them that you do have to do it yourself. And then I come from an entrepreneurial area, this Bay Area. I'm from Filmo. JT the Bigger Figure is one of the baddest brothers that the Bay Area has ever seen as far as independent hip-hop and creating his own stuff. And Get Low Records was very influential with me coming up because he put on all the cats in the ghetto that was rapping. A lot of cats, don't appreciate that now, or they do now now that it's gone, but they didn't appreciate it then.
They took it for granted.
And so I learned, that you have to do your own thing, and that's what's up with D. LaBrie. I love that brother because he does his own thing, and he don't trip off what you're saying. He does his own records. He's got his own stuff. I had a chance to listen to one of his records when I was on tour with Nobody from the High Road, and we were on tour on this road in this van with just nothing but land, and we encouraged to listen to each other's music. We popped in D. LaBrie's record and was pleasantly surprised that brother had some dope music on there. And I encourage that too. You've got to listen to other people. You've got to give what you want to get in the game. If you're not listening to someone else's music, they're not going to listen to yours. It's very simple.
And that's a concept that you bring to when you do these showcases.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about the obvious thing is that it's important, but you said that this is how you build the economy around this?
Yeah. Well, we have an opportunity for artists to, make money and, not cry about being broke. And, what better way to make money than off your music? There's a lot of cats that went and sold crack and weed for money and stuff like that. And they can't go and sell their ticket, or they can't go and promote their own show. That's something that we're not in the business of worrying about. They're going to do what they're going to do. But we attract entrepreneurial artists that are interested in getting out there, and they have the work ethic to make people know who they are and to appreciate what they're doing. That's very simple. But in the Bay Area, you don't have that environment because it's a lot of crabs in the bucket. Somebody will throw your CD to the side. They don't promote your party. They don't tell someone that they know about your party, that they think someone would know that would like it, but they don't tell them about it. It's very fundamental, sorry type of thinking that's got us to where none of us are thriving. None of us are making money. None of us are getting what we want to get because we're beating each other up. So my show is like, come and check out the music. You don't have to like it. You don't have to be a fan of it. But what is it to give them your time and to check it out, and you might like it?
That's interesting you say that. I don't know if it's a Bay Area unique thing, but I do know that you have two different types of people. Some people really want their name up in lights, and they want a certain type of prestige. This is not a rap thing. I see this as, activist and journalism thing. Wow. It's funny, I see folks that have come on Hard Knock.
Yeah.
We will interview them for an entire hour. They'll come to KPFA, they sit down, they get all the love, they get all the intricacies about their thing. It's all out there. And that's good. This is what the community needs to do.
Yeah.
Boom. Now, I'll see them go on Fox News and get beat up and get cut off and not be able to talk. Yet they gone on Facebook and MySpace and Twitter and sent out press releases and email. Tune in to watch me on Bill O'Reilly or whatever. Yeah. We're going to be on there getting beat up. And meanwhile, you're sitting there going, okay, that's cool, but they already got a machine and a corporation and a mechanism to promote their situation. Mm-hmm. And they're not promoting you and they're not showing you no love. But meanwhile, underneath, we took the time to give you the full hour and you ain't even mention it. Absolutely. And, you see that with artists all the time.
Man,
they'll come to your thing, won't mention it. But, gosh, they get like half a verse, or in a freestyle at a KMEL event. And, they sent out the whole troops. And I didn't understand the mentality, but then I realized that some people really want that fame.
Yeah, that's scary. That's scary, and that is very scary to me. And I try to stay away from cats like that. I call that an ego because, doing my process of my shows, we've booked 56 shows since last July, 17 months. And I've talked to literally 10,000 artists. No bull. And it's been, I'd say, 2% of the artists that honestly understood the concept and honestly were not thinking about themselves. And then that 98% was definitely the ones that were, bright lights and egotistical maniacs. And that's something that I think corporations and how they destroy rap music, they meant to do that. After Pac was killed and Biggie, it was meant for them to do that, to where they get control of the game. And they
divide and conquer.
Divide and conquer.
And make it a tier.
They got our form to where we don't even support it, or we can't even thrive from it. Now I'm in the industry. I know independent artists ain't thriving. I know it. And so with that being said, you could thrive if you coexisted.
Right. That's something to definitely think about. We're talking with Sellassie right now. I want to take another listen to a song off your album. What should I play, man? What do you want to hear?
You know what I want them to hear? Stop Hating in the Bay.
Stop Hating in the Bay.
I think you know, I when I made that song, I went directly at it. You know, just stop hating in the Bay. We gotta stop.
We'll be right back.
Stop hating in the Bay. Here's my CD, by the way. In your deck, press play. Hear what I gotta say. Stop hating in the Bay. Here's my CD, by the way. In your deck, press play. Hear what I gotta say. Stop hating in the Bay. Here's my CD, by the way. In your deck, press play. Hear what I gotta say. Stop hating in the Bay. Here's my CD, by the way. In your deck, press play. Hear what I gotta say. It's 100,000 rappers in the Bay. Everybody tight in their own special way. How you ever gonna hear what they gotta say? If you don't pop them in the deck and press play. Give someone a chance if you wanna get it back. #1 golden rule from the days of way back. Born and raised off this black rap music. If you got skills, go ahead, show and prove it. I'm not a Serato ear hustler imposter. I grew up off rice and beans, boy, no lobster. Everywhere was too short, Jungle Brothers, brand new begin. Gangstar, Cool C, do you remember him? MC Light taught a brother not to bite. Public Enemy told me the power you better fight. N.O.G. said be a father to your child. U.N.I.T.Y. Queen Latifah singing proud. Stop hating in the Bay. Here's my CD, by the way. In your deck, press play. Hear what I gotta say. Stop hating in the Bay. Here's my CD, by the way. In your deck, press play. Hear what I gotta say. Stop hating in the Bay. Here's my CD, by the way. In your deck, press play. Hear what I gotta say. Stop hating in the Bay. Here's my CD, by the way. In your deck, press play. Hear what I gotta say. We got talent right here in our backyard. Had to do it, had to pull the whole base card. Hating ain't hating if you really don't like it. But like my mama used to say, don't knock it till you try it. If you established artist, you should be ashamed of yourself. Especially if you're selfish and you don't offer help to your fellow MC. That means you and me. From the sucker-free city of the Sacramento, I put on a show called We All We Got. All the artists is hot. Hope they make it to the top and achieve they zenith. Burn for 500 years like the African bird phoenix. I wish we can click up like my SA partners. Not familiar, whatever you need, boy, just holler. We can bring it back. I'ma show you how to move. Put some love in your heart, playboy, you can't lose. Let's stop hating in the Bay. Here's my CD, by the way. In your deck, press play. Hear what I gotta say. Stop hating in the Bay. Here's my CD, by the way. In your deck, press play. Hear what I gotta say. Stop hating in the Bay. Here's my CD, by the way. In your deck, press play. Hear what I gotta say. Stop hating in the Bay. Here's my CD, by the way. In your deck, press play. Hear what I gotta say. Rule of thumb. If you are an artist out there and you want somebody to listen to your music, try to give somebody a chance to give you their music. You know what I'm saying, though? If you honestly get a CD and go throw it on the back drawer and you don't listen to it, 9 times out of 10 they ain't gonna listen to you, bruh. So you got to give what you wanna get, man. Let's stop hating in this Bay, man. If you know about me, you know Sellassie.